Home Ministry recently, in a statement in Parliament in the context of the skirmishes between Mizoram and Assam, actually spoke about 9 ongoing border disputes. I'm Pallavi Ghosh, and my one take this week asks this question, is that these border disputes which are still going on, are they going to affect the entire concept of One India or Akhand Bharat, which is so integral to the whole idea of India being one nation? Now, Sardar Patel, to his credit, goes the integration of several princely states when India became independent. And therefore, the magnificent big India with its different languages, cultures also came about. Now, after that, what has happened is that there has been a creation and recreation of various states. And the idea behind the recreation of the states has been one, which is to protect the language and culture of each of the people of India, which means if I feel comfortable in one particular state because my language and culture belongs to that state, then why should I not be a part of that particular state as well? But with this has emerged several problems, and one of them biggest is the border problems. Now let's take a quick case of Assam. Now Assam was one big state. Carved out of it is what is called the Seven Sisters. The Seven Sisters are now unfortunately fighting with each other. So that's where you're getting to see the sibling rivalry. Like Mizoram and Assam, which we saw recently. And it's been something which has been simmering for quite some time, kept under the lid, and in fact also a part of those 9 ongoing disputes listed by the Home Ministry are Assam with Meghalaya, Assam with Arunachal Pradesh, Assam with Nagaland as well. Other states which have been carved out are also facing a similar problem. For example, Himachal Pradesh and Ladakh. Now, Sarchu is one beautiful area if you're going to drive down from, say, Manali to Leh. But that beauty ends when you actually reach Sarchu, because there are the people over there who feel that we don't belong to either of these states. What do we do? So that is one border dispute which is still going on, and periodically you can see those kind of clashes taking place, which no solution being yet in sight. You know, for example, the other biggest of them all is that of Belgaum, Karnataka-Maharashtra border. But if you go to Belgaum, it's very interesting because I traveled there during elections and the violence over there has been pretty bad. But, you know, if you go to the people in Belgaum, if you go to the house, it's interesting because suppose I go with a Kannadiga friend over there, they feel very comfortable with the food because you find lots of Kannada dishes there. Similarly, if someone Marathi goes there, they'll be very comfortable because the food over there is a Marathi. I'm giving a very small, which many of you may think is a frivolous example, but food is the basic yardstick, I would say, to judge what India is also all about and the oneness or uniqueness of India. Now, if they can eat a fusion food, and they're comfortable over there, where does the problem arise? As always, at the doorstep of the politicians and political parties. Some political parties draw their strength from these border disputes. Some political parties owe their genesis to these border disputes. For example, the Shiv Sena, which emerged in the 1960s because of these border disputes, say, between Maharashtra and Gujarat when it was carved out of the Bombay state. Shiv Sena propelled itself to that position. Bal Thackeray was seen as a tiger because he used his whole idea about a Maharashtra pride or the Marathi pride, which he said was actually being diminished because other states were allowed to ride roughshod over Maharashtra. The whole narrative of the Marathi pride has been pushed forward not just by the Shiv Sena but also by the NCP, which claims to be also a national party, or at least more than a national party in Shiv Sena. Now, Shiv Sena, the MNS, all of them keep on talking about the Marathi pride. So much has changed now, so much so that Shiv Sena today is in power in Maharashtra. They can also be seen periodically and sometimes putting up the candidates in other states as well. Obviously still looking at the larger national picture whenever it suits them. Shiv Sena is also a very desirable ally, not just for the BJP, but for the other opposition parties like, for example, the Trinamool Congress. Now, if you look at again going back to Mizoram and Assam case, you would have seen that Twitter war which took place between the Chief Minister of both the states. Why was it so? It's not so difficult actually to sit across the table and sort it out as it is being done now. The reason is again the pride of the state. The Mizoram Chief Minister, the more and more aggressive he would get, talk about the Mizo pride and how the Assamese were actually putting pressure on them and terrorizing them, it would help his stakes inside the state despite the fact that the MNF is actually a part of the NDA. Similarly, when Himanta Biswa Sarma says that I don't mind being arrested, I'm ready to go to a police station because his name was mentioned in an FIR which was filed by the Mizo administration, he's again catering to the Ahomia or the Assamese pride. So that's where the politics comes in from. But there are interesting examples. For example, Una. Now, Una was carved out of of Punjab, goes into Himachal Pradesh. It's on the border of both the states, and the culture, language is so much similar. Now, if you travel to the rest of Himachal Pradesh, the language over there is going to be completely different from that of the people of Una, which is so similar to Punjab. So much so, a normally conservative Himachali who would say, I don't want the bride or the groom to come in from any other state, will have no qualms if the bride or groom actually comes in from Una, which is in Himachal Pradesh, Punjabi also. Similarly, on the grounds that, these are our own people, ye to apna hi hai. So if the language is same, the culture is almost the same, the people living there don't have a problem, then why don't the politicians also understand this? I think it goes back to the question which I was raising a short while back, and the point also which I was raising. It suits their politics, it strengthens their case, like it's doing in the case of Shiv Sena, like it's doing in the case of the Mizoram Chief Minister. And therefore they prefer to keep the pot boiling periodically and raise the issue of the state pride. I've been asking you this question on the social media timeline, getting a mixed reaction. Does it really affect this whole concept of Akhand Bharat? Yes and no. The whole idea of India is, and what is making us apart from many other countries is that each state is different. Each state is unique. They have their own dressing style, their own culture, their food style. Yet at the end of the day, they all move towards the center as being one country. These border disputes, when they get very aggressive and out of control, actually gives this whole impression that perhaps this whole concept of Akhand Bharat or One India maybe cannot be achieved. Now, the central government certainly is very alarmed, and it does get worried, and whether it's the present government or whether it's the past government, which is why, while at the micro level it may suit the politicians to keep the border disputes alive, at a larger macro level they can pose problems, because it also makes you vulnerable as vis-a-vis your relationship with other countries is concerned. For example, if there's a dispute taking place in the northeast, it is something which China is watching. It makes you very uncomfortable over there. If there's a dispute going on, say, between a Himachal Pradesh and say a Ladakh, Pakistan is watching. It makes you very uncomfortable over there. And so on and so forth if it's happening between Punjab and Himachal Pradesh, which is why the Home Ministry wants to keep an eye on it. Is there a solution to these border disputes? Well, not completely, because the genesis of these states often is coming out of this whole desire to be different, to be hatke, to be unique, and often at the cost of the mother state, as it has happened in the case of Assam. If you look at Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram, there are twofold problems over there. Many of the people who are living here, they feel that they have a problem of integration from the rest of the country because they're looked down upon. They're looked upon very condescendingly, they face those racist slurs and so on. On the other micro level, it is these border disputes they keep on having with Assam, for example, which is being allowed to simmer for years and no solution has been found. At the end of the day, this seems to be a happy, for want of better choice or better word to use, coexistence. You allow these border disputes to go on, and I'm talking about the politicians for that matter, and especially the political parties who have a vested interest, because it makes them stronger. But at the end of the day, what it does is it weakens the people who are living in these particular areas, and also weakens the idea of one nation. Where the problem arises is that if one such area starts saying, okay, we want to carve out a separate state for ourselves. For example, in Khalistan, the whole concept was this: our culture is different, let us be different. That is where the problem for national security is concerned. So while the Home Ministry is looking at these ongoing border disputes which concern and trying to find a solution to it, they wouldn't want the situation to go out of hand so much so that this demand for a separate state arises. Do give in your reactions on whether you think these ongoing border disputes or with the carving of these states in the first place, as was visioned by Sardar Patel, was a right decision which was made then. Was this not looking forward? Was there a mistake, a calculated mistake which was made by actually having these different states being carved out? And when you keep on carving out new states one after another, like it happened in Jharkhand, for example, Uttarakhand, the problem is never really solved, is it? And does it affect the national security or the concept of one nation? Do give in your reactions. We're going to be back with much more next week, but we want to know what you felt about this question that we raised this week.